Hey guys, Clary Berry here, and I want to talk with you guys today about Donald Trump and his clear and present danger to democracy. This is something I think that we're not quite focusing on enough. I know a lot of people are talking, a lot of people are understanding the very real threat that we have going on in this upcoming election. But a lot of people, whether they're moderates or undecided, or even actual MAGA Trump supporters and voters. I'm watching a lot of these, rallies where people will go and interview them, and the common theme is they're not paying attention. This is our democracy. We have to pay attention. These people are out there repeating the idea that we're about to have a civil war when, they won't even have a debate or conversation with somebody. They are being fear-mongered into believing that their rights are being taken away, even though they're the ones who are actually taking the rights away of other people. But this effort to undermine the elections is a clear and present danger, again, to the very state of our democracy in this country, our democratic republic. It's anytime, when you're casting a doubt on the elections, everybody has a right to do that if you really truly feel that they are unfair. But when it's gone through numerous court cases, numerous provings that this is not real, the only voter fraud was very, very minor. It was actually Republicans who did it in this last presidential election. It doesn't matter. Trump clearly refused to accept the results. In his mind, he can't fathom the idea that he's a loser because he's a narcissist, and that would cause him narcissistic injury and cause him to crumble. So he goes around falsely asserting, widespread allegations. People like Rudy Giuliani, and we've seen numerous cases where people were going through defamation lawsuits and winning based on the fact that they had no evidence in claiming that the elections were rigged. They had no evidence. And they still to this day are trying to pretend and drag us and bait us along. Oh, I'll show you the evidence next week. We'll show you the evidence real soon, and it's going to be big. You stay on the edge of your chairs. No, they don't have anything, and they know it. And yet the very real danger is that they are actively promoting the idea that this next election, 2024, is also, going to supposedly not be a free and fair election. And it's just total BS, especially when you can see Trump not only losing all the lawsuits, no evidence whatsoever, defamation lawsuits left and right, but him on tape actually saying, I need 11,780 votes. Just give me 11,000 votes. It should be clear, again, if you're just paying attention. And that's what we need to do, is just make sure more and more people are actually paying attention. So this is undermining our democracy by casting these doubts, because everybody kind of has to agree that the elections are free and fair, or else your democracy is not going to stand. So between all the pressured officials, between the lawsuits, the recounts that they had to do, nothing came out of it. Completely unsuccessful, but still managed to erode the trust in the system. And that's very dangerous. And not only that, but he's out there weaponizing the DOJ, completely clearing out the Republican Party so that he can specifically place who he wants to be in power. And he's doing that in a way where he will be able to make greater inroads into what his goals are the next time around. And that goes for not only the election, but also if you look at Project 2024, that goes for if he does happen to manage to become president again. He's going to clear out everybody. And then you do think at the end he's going to give up the next 4 years and we're going to go back to democracy? No, we have to understand and admit to ourselves that even though it's outrageous, even though we never thought we would have this in our lifetime, even though it seems so unfathomable, he's actually doing it, and he's got a lot of freaking support. And any time, again, that you're, threatening the idea of a free and fair election, and then adding this idea that, he's threatening the rule of law, he's attacking the DOJ, on a total political basis, it's raising a lot of alarms, and should be raising alarms with each and every one of us. So it's just really, again, I can't highlight enough that the importance of safeguarding democratic processes and institutions. We have to safeguard this democracy. We have to preserve. There's already a lack of trust in the government anyway. You only have almost half the people in this country even voting. That could be good for us, where there's a lot of room for growth, but we don't want to see it go the other way. In order for it to work, you have to believe in it. And that is where they're just chipping away. MAGA is just chipping away at this trust. And again, if they're in power, they're not going to follow the rules. That's not part of what Trump does, even though he just wants to act like play the victim, and he doesn't do anything wrong and everybody's just attacking him despite mountains of evidence. But yeah, not only do we have to have this trust in the free and fair elections, we have to have respect for the rule of law and passing the a torch on to the next president. And he's not gonna be there. He's not gonna do it. And not only that, he said it, okay? And he tries to act like he's a comedian up on his stage. I don't know if you've been watching. Hopefully you have been watching the recent speeches that he's been doing, and the gaffes, where he can't say Venezuela, he can't even say become, he can't say states. He is completely losing it. But we have to, regardless of individual preferences, we have to come together and support democracy in a bipartisan way. During his presidency, he was actually talking about things like where he joked about, he jokes about being a dictator. This is not new, although we're seeing these comments still continue in 2024. But he's been saying these things back when he was actually president. He again will try to frame it as humor, but again, the context and the implications are significant. And why, if you're running for president, would you even fathom or feel comfortable joking about democracy? That shouldn't even be in your head that you're, trying to be a dictator. And obviously we know he quotes dictators. He openly adores dictators and is really good friends with them and talks to them all the time. So again, red flag after red flag. Please pay attention and stop acting like Biden's age. If you need to watch the recent speeches he's been doing, interviews, State of the Union address, watch them all, and you will compare those to Trump's recent speeches, and you will see very clearly what's going on if you are paying attention. I feel like if you're on this blue wave side, that's all we have to do is get people to pay attention. We don't have to, everybody's saying we don't have to change MAGA's mind. They're too far gone. We're not going to get them this cycle. Focus on the huge chunk of non-voters and the people who, are so feeling disenfranchised, and make them understand that it's better to have, a choice of to vote or to not to vote, rather than to just not have a choice to vote at all. And people who are out there saying, oh yeah, dictatorship is great. Well, dictatorship is great when you're kissing their ass, but as soon as you do one thing, we don't all agree on everything. Once you do one thing, they can basically have you killed and nobody's going to be able to do anything about it. We're not recognizing the danger. We are so complacent in the safety that we've been in after hundreds and hundreds of years of this democracy. We can't even fathom what it would be like to lose it. And we need to face that. And we need to understand that that's how this democracy was made, for us to be active participants in it. And our vote does make a difference. It does make a difference for trans people, for women, for minorities, for everyone. Okay? So the joking about the dictator, just don't get it. It's not funny in the least. And it shouldn't be to any person who values America, the United States of America. In a rally in Pennsylvania on September 26, 2020, Trump said, and I quote, "In 52 days from now, we're going to win Pennsylvania, and we're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And then after that, we'll negotiate, right? Because we're probably, based on the way we were treated, we're probably entitled to another 4 after that." He'll say things like, oh, that was a joke, I'm humor, they just don't get my humor, they're just attacking me like everybody attacks me. But it's such a serious subject. There's no room for humor, especially when you're not a comedian. We're not voting for the next stand-up comedian. We are voting for the actual freaking president of the United States. And that used to mean something. But the very idea of extending presidential terms beyond constitutional limits should be red flag. It should be a red flag saying this person does not respect the Constitution, may not even understand it or know it or care about it. So hugely important that people understand, again, that not only he was saying this stuff in 2020, he's continuing to say, oh, dictator for a day. I'm going to be dictator for a day. Why, if you were going to be a dictator for a day, would you give it up? Why would you even, again, normal people wouldn't even think to make that type of a joke in the first place. And it's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. So we need to really pay attention. Okay. And there's more, there's more than even what I'm getting into, but please share, please subscribe. I'm going to be coming out with more videos like this. Follow me on Threads. That's pretty much where I post. I also will be on Facebook as well, posting a lot. I'm not really posting to Instagram lately. Sorry for all my Instagram friends, but come on over to Threads. Help preserve democracy. This is important. I know our health and veganism and everything is important too, but we're not going to have that. We're not going to have a hope to even think about preserving veganism and ideals like that, and ideals of free and fair intersectional activism, if we have dictator Trump for however long. And don't think that, oh, it's just Trump and we would only have him and then he would die and then we're going to go back to democracy. No. The Heritage Foundation, Project 2025, look into these things, and these far right, wing, ultra conservative, religious extremists are trying to take over our government, and they are the minority, and we can absolutely vote them the hell out of office, and that is exactly what we need to do. But again, we have to pay attention. So I hope to see you back soon. Take care.